What happens when a corporate executive walks away from it all and builds a new life in Mexico City? In this episode, you'll meet Darrell, a former VP of Boston Pizza, now a leadership coach and author of the hit book, The Great Resignation. Welcome to the RebelRebel. This episode is brought to you by my book, Brand Jitsu. Move your brand from meh to memorable. Brand Jitsu is the battle-tested method I've been using for nearly 20 years to help artists, entrepreneurs, and businesses find shape and share their stories so everyone gets it. And where do you get a copy of this amazing book? Glad you asked. Head over to brandjitsu.com to order a signed copy, or get it at Indigo, Chapters, Kohl's, Barnes & Noble, or head down to your local independent bookstore and ask them to bring it in. Welcome to the RebelRebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie, and somewhere across the world, I don't even know where she is right now. Please welcome to the show, Darrell. Laura, how the hell are you?
I am amazing, friend. It's great to see you. I'm super excited to be here today.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for making the time. Just so that we don't need to know exactly where you are in the world, your street address or anything, but where are you-ish?
I'm in Mexico City-ish, one of 20 some odd million people.
That's a lot of people. Okay, so let's start here. What brought you to Mexico? What are you doing in Mexico? What's happening in Mexico?
Well, it's a great story. My husband and I ended up here about 3 years ago. So we retired and kind of left the corporate life behind. And now here we are in Mexico City. It's amazing.
I'm sorry, you said retired. Where's your gray hair and your walker?
They're parked behind my desk, friend. You just can't.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So I mean, you're retired. So what do you do? What's a typical day in Laura Land?
Well, it's a blessing, really. I just get to pursue the things that bring me a lot of joy, that I find a lot of purpose in. So, right now I wrote a book when we first moved to Mexico City, kind of living through COVID and the Great Resignation. Leadership is my jam. So I had a few things to say about kind of what happened to the working world during COVID. So I penned this book, never written a book before, self-published it on Amazon, just kind of put it out to the world to see. And wouldn't you know, a big publisher in New York City, Morgan James Publishing, got a hold of my book. They reached out to me. This is about 7 or 8 months ago, to publish it under their banner. So it actually hits stores in about 5 weeks from now. So I'm exactly, friend. You never know what the universe has in store for you. So that's kind of taking up a bit of time these days, and I'm doing a bit of speaking. I'm getting ready to go back to Canada to speak to a group of restaurant executives about kind of life in the restaurant world again, in the post-COVID world, and kind of what's going on in that industry. So I'm going to do some leadership training with their gang, and like every day, I kid you not, is just. Yeah, I just get to say yes to the things that bring me a ton of joy and spend a ton of time with my husband, traveling, doing all kinds of great stuff here in the city.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it so surprising. I mean, I just had a few things to say, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this self-publishing thing and see what happens. And lo and behold, you truly never know what's going to happen.
Isn't that something? Is I think one of the immutable laws of the universe is that you never know until you put it out there.
100%.
And if you kept 100%. That locked up inside, you wouldn't be experiencing this. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Way to go.
Yay, Laura. So cool.
Holy shit. Okay, sorry. So you left Calgary, which is yes. My current hometown.
Yeah.
Why would you ever leave Calgary?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because truth be told, I love that city. I've lived kind of all over Canada. Best place that I lived. My husband is born and raised there. We got tons of friends there. Great spot. Nothing against the city of Calgary, but I don't know, man. I just feel like we all went through this like really bizarro time during COVID, and even to talk about it now, it's like, man, did that really happen? Did we really go through those things? Yeah, we did. Like, that's how we ended up here. So kind of pre-COVID, I was vice president at Boston Pizza. So, great
Hmm.
job, loved it, traveling all the time, probably over 100 nights a year, just, out in the field with my team and with franchisees. Thought nothing of it. Like, hey, this is the way life goes. And my husband worked in oil and gas. And so he was kind of traveling internationally all the time. We would legit, like, we would meet up at the airport, like, hey, like, I'm flying out at this time, you're coming in. Can we grab a coffee? What's the schedule like? And like, seriously, how many people live that way? A lot of people. And you just think it's totally like, that's just what you do.
Huh.
Um, and then that first lockdown came and we were both like grounded and stuck at home like everybody else. And we were both just like, oh my God, like, I really love you. Like, I really miss spending time with you. And like, this is kind of amazing. Yes, yes, big win for relationships.
Phew.
So yeah, and it was honestly 2 weeks after that, my husband handed in his resignation. He's like, "Babe, like I'm done." I'm like, "I still like really dig what I'm doing. I'm really committed to my team and kind of
Yeah.
seeing them through. You know how tough it was on the restaurant industry, and
Oh
so I just
yeah.
felt really committed to to seeing that work through. So I think I
Mhm.
stuck around for another year and a half maybe, and then my husband Jim was like, "Okay, like let's get going here." So yeah, we decided to pack it all up. We sold pretty much everything we owned and booked a one-way flight and showed up here in Mexico City. Legit, like we had an Airbnb booked for like 4 weeks. We had our two
Yeah.
dogs, big dogs, German Shepherd and a Rottweiler, two cats, and like three suitcases each. And we just it's wild to think about it now. It's wild, but
Wow.
honestly, best thing we ever did. Like hands down, totally disruptive, but best thing that we ever did.
You crazy kids. Okay. All right. So I don't think I knew you're vice president of Boston Pizza, and I just have to give a shout out to Cactus Cut Chips and pierogi pizza. I just gotta get that out there.
Pierogi pizza. And let me tell you, friend, there's also Boston Pizza here in Mexico. I think there's three or four in Mexico City. So I am not without my pierogi pizza and chicken wing fix. It's not that far from here.
All right. Good. 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 It's good to know that it translates borders.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Outstanding. Wow. Um. Holy cow. So I mean, what you've done is not common. Pardon me. Like across the spectrum. I mean, obviously your careers were, I mean, upper level
Yeah.
common, I guess, but like, I mean, certainly not normal, not like, hey, I'm washing dishes today or
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. So, um, yeah, why would you give all of that up? Like, I mean, the prestige, the money,
Yeah.
which I assume was pretty good,
Yeah.
and what to you know take off to Mexico, which I hear is a lovely city.
Oh, so yeah, the city is amazing. Shout out to Mexico City. Beautiful, beautiful spot.
Yeah,
Great question, friend. Like we didn't hear that a million times from like friends and family and like
yeah,
what's
yeah,
happening and you're like you're at the pinnacle of your career. Like these are supposed to be your prime earning years. Like what are you doing? I think honestly the short answer is it just came down to our values. Like we just were saying all these things about, how important our lives were together and building all these dreams to do all these things, and then we just
yeah.
were never doing those things. And then I think COVID itself was just such a it was just, in my opinion, just such a hard time on society, right? Just seeing
Oh yeah,
how people were so angry at each
divisive
other and
and
so
yeah,
divided, and just the things coming out through media, and it just didn't feel like a great time to me. It just felt really, and like leadership is my jam, right? So like I'm
yeah,
all about like bring the people together and let's find ways to collaborate
yeah,
and break down silos, and everything's better when we're kind of respectful to each other. And there, I remember a time when you could have completely different political views or religious views or views on how you want to manage your health, and like you'd have those disagreements, but then you'd like get together on the back deck and you'd,
Yeah.
grab a cold beer and you'd sit around and talk about hockey. But it just seemed like we were a really long way from that. And we were
Oh,
really, really blessed. I will say that, we don't have kids. So,
yeah.
we were in this financial position where we could just say, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's just hit
We're
pause. My husband's like, "What's the worst thing that's going to happen, babe? We get there, we don't like it, we pack our 3 suitcases each and, grab the furry
right.
critters and go back home." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
when you put it that way, it doesn't sound um, terribly scary." But I
Oh,
think
wow.
that's really the short of it. Like it was not. It was a.
Very cool.
I don't want to say it was like a super well thought out decision. It was just like, yeah, I just think it's time, and let's just go do something wild and crazy,
Amazing.
and we haven't looked back.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Um, wow. What has let me just sort of segue sideways here back to your book for a second, because you write this thing, you publish it yourself, you put it out in the world, a big publisher comes back and says, hey, we want it. um, and are they doing a different treatment on it? Are they doing it like a slightly different developmental edit? Did they take it
No.
as is? Like, what
Can
does
you
that look
believe
like?
it? As
No.
is, they made like almost no edits to they changed the cover. I'm like, well, that's fair. Like, I'm not a creative design person. So,
Sure.
over to you and your friends in marketing to spruce it
Yeah.
up a little bit. But like, no, that was it. They left it exactly the way it was. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, credit to you. Clearly, you hit a home run.
Oh, I had some things to say. I was simmering away
Oh,
after COVID and the Great Resignation, and so yeah, I had a few things to say.
well, so let me ask you this, and I don't know whether you wrote it while you're still employed, and that doesn't matter. But I wonder if during that time, and the fact that you're self-published, and the fact that you're just, I mean, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but you just had enough of some stuff, enough that you just had shit to say, and and you just decided, you know what, I'm just going to say it because nobody is going to tell me no because I'm
Yeah,
publishing this myself.
exactly. Yeah,
So it's your authentic voice.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty
I,
cool.
I can't wait to read it. I should. Can I buy it still on Amazon, or do I have to wait for the new
Pre-sales,
release?
pre-sales are happening right now, friend.
Pre-sales. Okay. I'll by the time this comes out, it'll be pretty close to being launched. So I'll make sure that
Yeah.
there's links in the show notes.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah,
that's
Chapters,
really cool.
Indigo. If you have listeners in the US, Barnes and Noble, that's the place.
Barnes and Noble, yeah, that's amazing. Okay, I love it. Now, are you and your husband still traveling? Or are you locked in the city because of your pets, your fuzzy
No,
kids?
so we have a fabulous friend who comes and stays at our place when we go travel. So she looks after all the critters, which is
Oh,
amazing.
nice.
And like we're traveling all the time. We have like we call it like the travel season because Jim's folks, full credit to them, in their late 80s, also moved to Mexico City after we
Oh my
did.
god.
They lived right upstairs from us. Um, so we spend like half the year kind of stationary here through Canadian winter because my
Yeah.
mom also comes to Mexico City for the winter.
Oh my god.
And then we have like travel season. So when we get into like spring and summer here, so we're just in our travel season now. So yeah, we're just doing a ton of just wild stuff too, right? Just like all the big things that before you really need the walker and you can't do those things. We're trying to get at those things now.
Oh, that's great. What's on your hit list for places to see in the world?
Well, this year, in about 6 weeks, we're heading to Peru and we're going to do the Inca Trail
Machu
up
Picchu.
to, yes, yeah,
Nice.
and then spend a couple weeks in Lima and just eat all the food and drink all the cocktails. And yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to Brazil this year. So do Copacabana and Sao Paulo. And yeah, so that's the
Wow.
big, it's such a great spot, like Mexico City we'd never explored South America before because
Yeah.
obviously, like, it's like legit so far from Calgary, so
Yeah.
far. And with 2 weeks vacation,
Yeah.
never really topped the list. So we've been doing a ton of that. We spent the summer in Argentina last year, which was just wild. Like,
Oh.
what an amazing experience. And yeah, because it's all like relatively close-ish to here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a pile of fun.
Far out. Now, are you part of a big expat community, or have you learned Spanish? Like, do you know Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we made the conscious effort when we moved here. We were like, look, if we're going to do this for like the experience of, living in Mexico and becoming Mexican, because we plan
Yeah.
to do our citizenship. So we're kind of, 3 years into the citizenship
So
journey.
cool. Oh my god.
Yeah. So we really were like, no expat communities for us. So all the friends we've made in the last 3 years are either from Mexico or Venezuela, South America. So
Oh my
some of them
god.
speak English, a lot of them do not. So learning Spanish has just been, yeah, priority number one, like studying every day for the last 3 years. And we're
Wow.
making some good progress.
Yeah, getting out there and using it.
You have to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like there's English spoken in a lot of places, especially a lot of like the more touristy neighborhoods. But we do all of
Sure.
our shopping at they're called Tianguis. They're like little street farmers markets. Every neighborhood has
Oh,
one, and so if you want to ask for things and ask questions, you best learn how to speak the language. And we also think too that we want to live here. Like we want to be Mexican.
yeah.
We just got awarded tax residency. So filing through the Canadian government to kind of get that all squared away. And
Wow.
so yeah, we read the history books, we study the language, we go to the museums. Like we're in it, friend. We are in it.
Oh,
Like 3 years from
wow.
now, you wait. You're gonna be like, Laura, you look and sound very Mexican.
Outstanding. That is so cool. I love that you just immersed yourself in the
Yeah.
world. Like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Talk to me about like going to a little market and like is it in my mind's eye it's like it's all fresh produce and it's not very expensive. You can probably live very well for not a lot of money. I think like
Yeah. The food is it is wild. Just the difference and I mean, obviously it's like picked 2 days ago and in the market. So
right.
it gets picked when it's ripe. So it gets to ripen naturally. And like that's actually a big deal. Like you actually really taste that in the flavor of the food. And yeah, it's it's incredible. So we walk there. It's about a 10-minute walk from our place, and it's every Tuesday they shut down about 3 or 4 streets, and it's the same folks that
Wow.
show up every week. And we've got the one lady we go to for the avocados, and then the mango guy and the veg. But you get everything there, like all of your nuts and spices and cheese and eggs, and there's butchers there, and there's fish people there, like. And so we go, and that's where we do probably 90% of our grocery shopping comes through. And I'm telling you, like, can we just talk about the mangoes? Because I've never
Yeah,
had
talk
mangoes
to me
like
about
it.
the mangoes.
It's incredible. Like, number one, it's about 20 pesos for a kilo of mangoes. That's like a dollar something. We literally like just peel them and just like stuff them in our face over the sink because they're just so many. And avocados and yeah, it's everything that you would imagine about the cost of the food, the quality of the food, and just the availability of amazing fruits and vegetables all year round. It's incredible.
Wow. And this is just because it jumped into my brain. What's healthcare like there?
It's amazing. Um, yeah, it's amazing. So, oh my gosh, I could go down the rabbit hole with you. So they have a two-tiered system. They have a public
Okay.
system and they have a private healthcare system. The public system is totally free. It's just like Canada. If we
Yeah.
wanted to use it, because now we're residents of Mexico, we could do that. Plagued with the same problems in Canada, just kind of like
Sure.
long waits for specialist appointments and getting into the ER and things like that. So we went the private healthcare route. So we have a really great private insurance healthcare, very, very, very affordable. And we
What's
still,
affordable?
I don't know, like maybe 17 or $1,800 a year, and that is your full medical, all of your prescriptions, all of your dental, and 6 months of travel insurance a year anywhere around the
What?
world. Yeah,
What am I
dude,
doing in Canada? What am I
it's
doing here?
incredible. And so, but it's so affordable aside from that. Like, even if you just wanted to come here and just, have a number of things done,
Yeah.
it's incredible. Like, so my husband is going through his annual physical right now.
Yeah.
And so Number one, you message with the doctors on WhatsApp. There's no receptionist here. Like, you want to talk to your doctor, you message them on WhatsApp, they call you. Incredible. They come to your house. Like,
What?
yeah, Jim's parents upstairs, they're obviously elderly, so they have quite a bit of, medical stuff going on. The doctors come to the house. For Jim's physical, he needed to get, the blood work, the x-rays, the EKG, the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
9 yards. Like, I'm not kidding, friend. They were here this morning to do all the blood work. Yesterday, they came here to do the x-rays, to do the EKG. It blew my mind. Like, it literally blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. So
Okay.
that's really different and really incredible.
I have to ask, like, sorry, they came and did x-rays at your house?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. They have the whole I'm like, it seems like they have technology here from, like, another time. Like, I
Oh,
just
man.
and so the impacts of that, like, for us, it's just convenient, right? It's like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Why go out when someone can come and do it? But I think
sure.
about if you've got, elderly parents or something, to not have to go anywhere. Like, they have the physiotherapist comes to the house. Their family doctor is actually a geriatric specialist. Like, if you're an elderly person, you have a and I'm like, makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's incredible. My mom came the first winter that we were down here, and she had a bit of she had a couple of episodes in Canada that she went to the ER, and they were just like, well, it's old age. It
Right.
is what it is. Go
It's
on your way.
that
Pretty
tracks.
much.
Yeah.
So she came out here, and she had a bit of an episode here as well. And so we went down to get her. We hopped in an Uber and we took her to the hospital in our neighborhood, and straight in through the ER. And she had a MRI, a CT scan. She saw the neurologist, the cardiologist. She had full blood chemistry done, met with the internalist to have all of this diagnostics done. This was inside of, I think it took about 5 hours from the minute we got there till the minute we left. And do you know, they actually diagnosed her. She had little mini blood clots on her brain, and that's what was causing these issues. Boom, done. $800 for the whole thing, start to finish. I couldn't believe it. That first year that we were here, Michael, like, my jaw hit the ground on so many things, because I don't know, you just hear all these things about Mexico, and it's like, oh my God, you're going to get killed by the cartel as soon as you get off the plane. And,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like a third world country there. And I'm like, yeah, on my way to Costco, or just going to stop in IKEA and pick up a few things. Legit. It has just been, yeah, it's been incredible. Seriously incredible.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that changes a lot of stuff. So I've got friends of ours. Actually, they spend 6 months of the year down in Mexico.
Okay.
They bought a place, and I want to say uh, Sausalita. I
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
Like, is that north of Puerto Vallarta?
Yep. Yeah, it
That
is.
kind
It's
of
a beautiful
area.
spot.
Yeah, like small town. I think it's fairly expatty, from what I understand. But like they love it there,
Yeah.
and 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 it seems like the universe just keeps whispering that this is something I need to explore, and to stop lamenting the high cost of everything that's Canada these days.
I go back frequently. I do a lot of the speaking stuff I do is in Canada, and of course I go back to see my brother and my
Yeah.
friends and stuff. And I was back in Calgary in, must have been May, and I was with the girls, and they're like, "Well, we'll just zip into Safeway and let's pick up a few snacks." And I just literally walked around the grocery store, and I was like, it honestly, what is
Yeah.
happening? How do people um, on, like, lower income salaries and jobs, like, how are they affording to feed themselves? And then she was showing me, like, her NMAX bill and what's happened to just the cost of utilities.
Oh, I know.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So yeah, we're pretty
Um,
happy here. I think we're gonna stay. I don't even think I know we're gonna stay put.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I was looking at my recent utility bills, and it's the amount of money it costs just to exist here, like, it's shocking.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it's too bad because I love Canada, but
Oh,
it's
me too. And every time I go back, like, it's so beautiful, and I love seeing, family and friends, and I have so many fond memories. I lived all across the country, but
Yeah.
honestly, I really love living in a place where number one, I don't want to work till I'm 75 years old so that I can afford to retire
Right.
in Canada. And I just think too, there's a real cohesiveness to the Mexican culture. Like people are friends here. Like there isn't this polarized, like, oh, you're a
Right.
conservative, so I have to hate you because you're
Right.
conservative, or you're liberal, or vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
The government here, think what you want of them. They are widely loved. Like I think before the election, his approval rating was like almost 70%. I was just like,
Wow.
what? I don't know, it's a different vibe here. Like everything is about faith, family, friends, and fiestas. And like that's all people want to do. Honestly, we go out with our friends now into their house or wherever we go. Nobody talks about work. Never. Like
I
just
love that.
never. It's just all about like, hey, have you tried this food? Have you tried this mezcal? Hey, we should go to this beach. It's just yeah, it was another one of those just kind of things that really stand out when you move from one culture to another, right? You can't help but notice some of
Yeah.
the big differences like that.
Yeah, friend of mine and his wife just moved. They're moving around. Where were they? They're in Bogota. They're in Colombia. They're going to Ecuador, and they're spending a month in each place to see where they want to live forever and ever.
Yeah.
And we were talking. He was in Colombia, and he's in Medellin, and
Oh, beautiful.
um, yeah. And I'm like, okay, like cartel land back in the day, right? But I also know that it's now very arts oriented, and I asked him sort of what his experience was, and he was like, it's a different world. He goes, people are out in the street. They might have like a television on their front porch,
Yep.
and everybody's watching soccer, and people are coming by and like talking and hanging out and doing stuff. Where take any neighborhood in Canada. Certainly the bigger cities for sure. Like in Calgary, we're up in Scenic Acres, for example.
Yeah.
We know our neighbors and we say hello to them, but we don't hang out,
Yeah.
and where he's saying like there it's just all family,
Yep.
everybody, no matter where you are, who you are, what you're doing, it's a family thing, and you can talk and share food and wine and whatever. Like it sounds
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, it's exactly the same here. Like our neighbors have become our best friends, and whenever we see them and we go out, and if they know my mom's here, they like, hey, Laura, like, Where's your mom? What is she? Bring her with us. Bring her over. Bring her for dinner, and hey, we're going down to where did we just go? To Playa del Carmen for it was our neighbor's birthday and it was Jim's birthday, and they're like, oh well, let's all go down to Playa for a few days. And the flights, I mean, that was the other jaw dropping thing moving here is just the cost of air travel is it's incredible. Like
Like
we can
huge.
no tiny, teeny tiny. Like you can fly return from Mexico City to like Puerto Vallarta for $100 on
Oh
on
my
a
god.
number of different airlines. So it makes it so affordable to just like, hop on a flight, go down to the beach for
Yeah.
a few days. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I hear this too from my friends in Europe. Like even in the UK, well, maybe not in the UK anymore since Brexit. I'm not sure how that works, but I know that like people in Portugal, for example, like I got a friend there. They can fly literally anywhere in Europe for like €50,
yeah, it's crazy.
pretty much. Like, or you jump on a train and hit 3 countries.
Yeah,
Like,
we were just in Europe for a month, and we took the train from like Prague to Bratislava over to Vienna down to Budapest, and it's just so easy. And like Eastern Europe is also another favorite place of mine.
really,
Gosh, oh, it's incredible, really truly
okay.
incredible.
Dish, like what
Well, there's
what's your
just
go-to?
this like the spirit, I think. So, my dad is from Czechoslovakia, so he or Czech Republic now. So he escaped
Yeah,
in 1968 when the Russians invaded, and so this just crazy story ends up in Canada. So I was kind of raised with a certain worldview.
sure.
Government should be small, people should have, a lot of individual freedom, and don't always trust everything that you're told, like do your own research, find your own information. This is like, I call it my indoctrination of youth. This is the things we talk about around the dining room table.
Love
And
it.
so, yeah, I find that especially in Eastern Europe and places that were, up until 1989, like my dad couldn't go back home to see his family until 1989 when the Velvet Revolution happened.
Wow.
So there's just a vibe there in like Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, down into Croatia, where they're like, they have a healthy dose of skepticism.
Hmm.
They absolutely think for themselves. They're very, very, when it comes to like government and like too much control and too much regulation, they tell you about it. Like they tell you about those things. And so you look at how like COVID kind of went down in Canada, and then you look in some of these other parts of the world. I'm like, did did we live through the same thing? Like, what's
Wow.
happening? So that vibe, I think it feels really familiar to me. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
independent thinking. Just this
Wow.
like, we want to be free. We want to, have self determination. It's a lot like that here in Mexico too. I mean, they fought two revolutions, pretty much one after the other. One to get free from the Spaniards, only to
Yeah.
find out that the rich Mexicans were not letting them own any land. So they fought another revolution. So they too, like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Every Independence Day, they have these huge parades, and they're in all of their like all the different states come, and they're wearing all of their like regalia, and they're marching with their horses, and it's
Oh
just,
my.
so there's a very healthy, I think really healthy, um yeah, just we want to be free, we want to make our own choices, and we want to have
Oh, oh,
self-determination, and that's kind of my vibe too.
wow. I dig it.
Yeah.
What's a piece of advice you could give to aspiring leaders?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that my best advice would be to get really clear on what your values are. Like, what are the things that are just table stakes for you, most important? Is it about, integrity and doing what you say you're going to do, or is it about work ethic, or is it about trust? Whatever that is, find out what those kind of 3 or 4 most important values are that you have, um, and get really comfortable in those, because those are the things that are going to guide you from a leadership perspective when you got to make tough calls. Because sometimes, like, it's not all roses when you're leading people and
Yeah.
departments and organizations. Sometimes you've got to do tough things,
Yeah.
and if you know what those values are and what's really, really important, they're going to help guide you through those difficult times when maybe you don't have all the answers, but you still have to make a decision and do something anyway. I'm a big fan of that kind of value-based leadership. I think it just acts as a really good moral compass, I think.
Oh, that's awesome. What and something that's just sort of popped into my head as you were saying that was, what and what if the values that you have aren't supported by the organization that you're in, or there's a friction there. So you're trying to be one thing as a good leader,
Yeah.
but it's working counter to what perhaps the organization needs.
Yeah, it's a
How do you
great
navigate that?
question. I think the best thing to do. And I've found myself in that situation a couple of times in my career, where the way I wanted to show up as a leader wasn't really supported by the organization, or they did things a bit
Sure.
differently. And I think the best place to start is to really understand, like, what is your circle of influence at the organization? Do you have the power and position to impact the change that would be required to do things that are more closely aligned to your values and your belief system? And if the answer is no, that like there's no way, like I'm in a very junior role and I can't influence senior decision making and strategic planning and HR business plans, and I'm in a very entry level spot,
Yeah.
then I guess my advice now in hindsight would be dust off the resume, get onto LinkedIn, start networking, and to move on, because life is way too short um, to have to act and behave in a way at work that goes directly against who you believe yourself to be as a person. And I pretty much guarantee that if you make it to the ripe old age of 80 years old, you're not going to regret, making a courageous move to leave a job that's just not in line with your values to go pursue something that is. I'm pretty sure we're not going to regret those types of things later
Yeah.
on down the road.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Great advice. Thank you. That's awesome. Um, I don't clearly I know nothing about Mexico City other than it's huge. Um, and I had a friend a long time ago. He was from Mexico City, and he says in Mexico City even the Chihuahuas have switchblades, and I and that's how he said it. So I'm not trying to be like put on a crappy Spanish accent, but so I don't believe that that's true anymore. Maybe it was
No.
back in the time when he told me this, but
Yeah.
he used to say it was fairly dangerous, but I guess it's not anymore.
Yeah, a
But
number of years ago, for sure. It had a quite the reputation. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I go out by myself in the parks and stroll around.
okay.
My mom, like 77 years old, she's like, I'm just going to order an Uber. I'm going downtown to Central. I'm going to go to the museum. I'm like, have at her, lady. Have a good time.
That's kick ass. So you mentioned a park. So let's just say you're walking through your favorite park.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day. Birds
Hmm.
are chirping. I don't
Hmm.
know. And you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, Laura, I wish the world knew this one thing." What is the one thing that you wish the world knew?
That we don't have to let people divide us because we are more similar than we are different. And I'm just on this crusade to like help people see and help leaders see that like the job of the leader is actually to bring people together. It's not to pit us against each other and put us into little groups,
Yeah,
so that we can fight amongst ourselves while these people in these really powerful positions are kind of doing what they want because we're so busy fighting against
distracted.
each. Oh, it's just, and I just wish people knew it and believed it and understood that we have way more in common, than we do, um, different. And it's just not all about politics. I just feel all the time it's like politics, politics, politics. Like,
Yeah,
have we forgotten like what the role of the government is? It's like actually to serve us. It's like actually to act out our will. That is the job of the government. And I just feel like what's going on in a lot of the world today doesn't really
yeah,
resemble that.
yeah, yeah. I continually remind myself and my kids to walk outside or go for a motorcycle ride or
Yep.
go put your toes in the grass
Yes.
and connect with what's real as opposed to this ephemera that surrounds us. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah,
yeah.
totally. It's like these echo chambers that we spend so much time online, and it's just,
Yeah.
hey, friends, that's actually the algorithm. It's not, we're just feeding you that same story in a million different ways, all the
Oh,
time. But yeah, I'm with you. Get outside, get in the park, get your feet on the grass, and,
yeah.
have a beer, relax.
Oh man, so one of the guests I had, he's doing this cartoon called Jazz Cow, which is all about Jazz Cow is fighting the algorithm. So, fighting the algorithm through jazz, which I just as you mentioned algorithm, just like yeah, Jazz Cow to the rescue.
Amazing. We all need a little more jazz cow in our life.
Right? I know. Yeah,
Good
100% we
grief.
do. Oh man, oh, this is so great. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I'm going to come to Mexico.
Yes.
I'm gonna go on a little sojourn and see if this is a thing.
Oh yeah, come to
Um,
the city, friend. We will show you the food and the parks and the museums and art and culture. Like it's just,
oh,
yeah, the
okay,
food is,
you had me
can't
at
even
food
say.
and
Yeah,
culture and
it's
art.
incredible. Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. There's these
Okay.
people in the world,
Yep.
and we call them rebels in waiting. And they are the people who are about to do a thing, or they just did a thing, or like, oh my god, what have I done? But they're the wily coyote that stepped off the ledge and looks
Yep.
down and realizes there's nothing there just
Hmm.
before the uh-oh sign comes out.
Hmm.
What advice do you have for those rebels in waiting to help them get to where they need to go?
That is such a good question. I think my best advice would be to start going down the rabbit hole of mindset and understanding like what is a growth mindset, what is a positive mindset, how do you, because there are some really tactical things that you can do to develop that growth mindset and that positive mindset. I've always been a really positive person, but I haven't, like, my husband is the entrepreneurial one. I've always been very like risk adverse. So this whole
Right.
thing was semi-traumatic in the first number of months.
Yeah.
But I think just go down the rabbit hole of mindset and just really understand that, you know what? You can teach yourself new things. You can immerse yourself in new schools. You can change your destination. You can change anything you want about yourself and your situation, but it starts with your mindset. You got to stop playing the old tapes that are telling you like you can't do it, or you're not smart enough, or you don't have enough money, or you don't have enough resources. Because those tapes they will just stop you. It's paralyzing. It'll stop you
Yeah.
from taking that big leap. And it's all about mindset. Like, that's where I'm doubling down these days, is
Love
just
it.
like, yeah, just get it right up here that you can do anything you want. Nothing is standing in your way. You just have to believe it. You just have to believe it's possible.
I love that. And what is the name of your book?
It's called The Great Resignation, how a culture of coaching and appreciation can help you win the war for talent.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be in the show notes. Buy it. Connect with Laura wherever you can connect with Laura. Where should people connect with you?
I think LinkedIn is where I'm most active. Of course, I've just started a TikTok channel with some really short kind of leadership snippets.
Oh, cool.
I have a YouTube channel too about moving to Mexico, because I get tons of questions about what life is like
Smart.
here. So yeah, there's a number of spots that people can drop me a note.
We'll put it all in the show notes. Laura, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much for spending time with me today and
Oh my
sharing your
gosh.
story.
My pleasure. Like, honestly, I've been so looking forward to this, and it did not disappoint. So thank you so much, friend. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's me again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you're an artist, entrepreneur, or business owner who believes your brand could be more than it is, head over to brandjitsu.com and join the list to get your copy of my book, Brand Jitsu, Move Your Brand from Meh to Memorable. I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the Rebel Rebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, why don't you head on over to the RebelRebelPodcast.com and fill out our guest request form. Share or subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And thanks so much for listening. Until next time.